What's going on, everybody? My name is Ben, and welcome back to another episode here on Ben Builds. We are moving forward today, guys, on our 1/48 scale FJ-2 Fury by Kitty Hawk. And today I'm hoping to go ahead and get the fuselage all in one piece. Now, last time we worked on the tail, and that kind of completed the fuselage. So we have the front nose. This is looking pretty good. We've got our wings here, which need a little bit of work, but they're okay right now. We have our rear tail that we did last episode with our air brakes folded in. We also have our engine that is okay. And we have also the wing tips that we did a couple episodes ago. Those are going to be interesting to see how they fit. And of course, we have the rear tail. Now, all of this put together is most of the parts that we have already assembled and ready for sanding. Now, this is a big issue here today, is how is the front end and the back end of this fuselage going to fit together? Plus, once that gets in there, is the engine going to be in any trouble? Are we going to have any trouble with the wings? We have a little bit of work left to do here with the wing and the fuselage joint. It's just not quite there. I have a couple of ideas here how to make it even better, but it's getting there. It's close. Once we get that figured out, we'll be able to kind of get the wings on, and well, we'll be moving right along. But we're not going to do the wings today. That's going to be next episode. But I've been thinking about it and kind of looking at my options. Now, we can actually display the wings in the unfolded down position, and there's a little bit of a step at the bottom part of the wing. And I'm not sure how to eliminate that without sanding a lot of the wing off. It's just not great, but the top part looks pretty decent. It fits together nicely. So what I'm kind of thinking of is I'm a little bit leaning towards not doing the wings extended, doing the wings folded. I've never done that before, and I've always been curious on how that works. And I think if I went ahead and folded the wings, I could get in there and do some super detailing in there, maybe put some wires or hydraulic cables or whatever the case may be, and then get these things in the folded position. We'll see how that goes. I think on the FJ-3, when I will eventually build that, it's not out yet, but when I do build that, I'm going to probably extend the wings and maybe attach the bottom and top part of the wings to their corresponding middle sections. That way we eliminate the step in the middle of the wing, and maybe it fits a little bit better. But we'll go ahead and figure that out a little bit later. I'm kind of, like I said, leaning a bit more towards folding the wings with the FJ-2, but that's fine. We do have some work to do on the wings, such as, seam lines, and then of course the wing fold joint, if I do decide to put that into the folded position. So lots to do on the wings, but we'll go ahead and get on that next episode. Today, I really want to focus on the engine, the rear tail, the front fuselage, and then getting everything kind of glued together, and hopefully it all fits. So as we look at the connection point between the front and the rear sections, funny, we have a step on one side, and then the opposite side we have an opposite step. From fuselage to tail, and then from tail to fuselage. So we have to kind of figure that out. Also, we have to go ahead and make sure that it is more or less all nice and even from the front, from the side, from the top angle. We don't want the tail kicked right or left. We want everything to be lined up and pretty plumb and pretty straight. And then, of course, with the engine, we have a little bit of an issue with that because it doesn't actually line up as it's supposed to. It's supposed to kind of fit right up here with the intake trunking. It does not, because the front of the engine just did not want to go ahead and work. So that's going to be a problem. If we look down the front intake and we see that engine, there might be a bit of a gap around it. I don't know how noticeable that might be, so we have to go ahead and tackle that. Then with the tail here on the aircraft, that actually sits a bit proud of the initial tail section. So I'm not sure how to handle that. We're just going to probably just sand it down and, well, hope for the best. So let's go ahead and cue up a time lapse. We're going to push forward and sand off all the seams, get everything nice and squared away so that we can then join the two halves of the fuselage. And then I'm hoping we can go ahead and get in here and maybe patch up a couple things with some super glue. Then right here around the air brake, we have to figure that out. We don't want to eliminate the line. We just want to lessen the gap. So that might be a job for Mr. Surfacer. I don't know. Other side works pretty well, so I'm not too worried about that. Anyway, let's just go ahead and jump on in and get this thing nicely squared away. We've got some steps. We've got some features we have to sand down. Let's do it. All right, everybody, we are back, and that was a lot of sanding, but we have gotten our fuselage more or less together. We even added a shroud here between engine and intake trunking. We've got all of our seams more or less sanded down. We've run some 1500 grit sandpaper over the entire thing. I'm happy. Most of the seams are non-existent, and we'll know more once we put some primer down on it, but other than that, I think we are in a good position. A little bit more work to do here on the front nose. We have to get the inside wheel bay doors on there and figure all that stuff out, as well as the connection point between fuselage and wing. But as you can see, we have the tail nicely faired in. Everything, I think, looks pretty decent. So I'm happy. You know, this kit has been some trouble here and there, but we are moving forward, and I think we're in a good position. So next time we're going to come back, we're going to work on the wings. We have to go ahead and figure out the leading edges. We have to figure out the flaps. We have to figure out if we're going to do anything with the wheel bays. I have to also figure out the front section here where the guns and the ammo would be normally kept. That has to be kind of ironed out. Other than that, we do have to worry about the balance point. We have to make sure that there's enough weight in that front nose to kick it forward so that it doesn't tail set. That's going to be, well, a little iffy. But I do have some room up in that front nose, so if I do need to add more weight, I can. Anyway, guys, we're going to go ahead and call it quits for today. Thank you so much for joining me here on episode 6 for the FJ-2 Fury. Next time, we'll be back, and we'll tackle those wings and see what trouble we can get into. So until then, you know the drill. Go out there, get yourself some bench time, have some fun, build something cool, and we'll see you back here on the next episode. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you soon.